Hello everyone, I hope you are all having a good morning. Believe it or not, when I was in the first grade, I was placed into an ELL classroom. And for those of you who do not know what ELL stands for, it stands for English Language Learner. So it's a classroom program for students who are not as fluent in English, like myself who has spent all of kindergarten in Korea. So as you can imagine, I am bilingual. I was even a bilingual teacher at a preschool not too long ago for a classroom for Korean and English speaking students. What I have to share with you guys today might not necessarily impact you currently as college students, but it may impact the future of your children's education, especially if you come from a multicultural background like I do. I'll be covering 3 central ideas today. First, I'll be talking about Proposition 58 and where it originates from. I will also be covering how it will impact the future ELL students in California. And third, I will talk about the influence on the professionals in the field of education. So going into my first central idea, I will be talking about what Proposition 58 is. Proposition 58 is a repeal for bilingual education. It first started off in 1988 when California citizens decided that California's official language should be English. And this was more of a symbolic decision rather than a practical decision. This was due to the fact that there were a lot of controversial questions regarding multilingualism, multiculturalism, and questions regarding national identity. So about a decade later, in 1998, there was a proposition that passed called Proposition 227. And this Proposition 227 states that the official language that curriculums in public school education should be taught in is the English language. And because there has been a greater acceptance and an openness to multilingualism in the past few years, just 2 years ago, Governor Brown, he signed a bill called Bill 1174, and this states that bilingual education will be allowed in public school education systems. So it would be a repeal against Proposition 227, and this Bill 1174 is also going to be known as Proposition 58 in this upcoming November ballot. Now that we've talked about the origins of Proposition 58, we'll be going into the impact it's going to have on the future ELL students in California. Currently, ELL students are being taught by English instructors, English-speaking instructors who do not know how to speak the primary language of these students. According to Katie Ash, who was a former editorial writer for Education Week, in 2016, she wrote in her article that there are about 1.4 million students in ELL classroom settings today. That is a lot of ELL students, and these students are currently being taught in the English instruction, but what Proposition will allow is for these students to be taught in their primary language and then for them to translate it into the English language. This would ensure that these students are understanding concepts, they are understanding the subject matters being taught in their classroom settings in their primary language. It ensures that understanding, and then they would be required to transfer the knowledge, concepts that they have obtained into the English language. Now, this may seem like a lot of work for students that would be placed into bilingual education. They have to learn something in their primary language, then in their secondary language. But according to Amanda Matter, who is the middle school teacher in the San Diego Union District, she states in her article, in her online research just this past year, that it is actually more advantageous for these bilingual students. And these students have shown to outperform their US-born peers because of this transference of skills that they have developed from learning 2 languages. Now that we have covered the impact that Proposition 58 is going to have on ELL students, we are now going to go into the influence this proposition is going to have on the professionals in the field of education. Currently, there is over 75% Spanish-speaking ELL students in the ELL system. Now, due to the fact that there is such a great demand for Spanish-speaking teachers following Proposition 58, there is going to be a great restructuring and readjustment in the requirements and the qualifications in order to be an ELL teacher, and possibly even in the process of obtaining credentials. So today I talked to you guys about Proposition 58, which is a repeal for bilingual education. I covered 3 central ideas: the origins of Proposition 58, the impact it's going to have on ELL students, and its influence on the professionals in this field of education. I personally wonder how my educational experience may have turned out if I were to have been a part of this bilingual education program. But I hope this speech has informed you all to make an educated decision in the upcoming November ballot regarding this proposition. Thank you.